Welcome to the deep dive. You know that moment when you meet someone new and the conversation just clicks?
Yeah, totally.
Often it starts from something simple,
Right.
right? Something personal that kind of reveals a bit about who they are.
Exactly.
Today, we're doing a deep dive into one of the most natural and honestly pretty fun topics for making those early connections, hobbies.
That's absolutely right. We've really dug into some fantastic language learning material that unpacks exactly how to discuss, what you do for fun.
Mm-hmm.
And what's really insightful, I think, is just how much common ground and genuine connection this simple subject can create. It's kind of amazing.
So our mission for this deep dive is pretty clear.
Mhm.
We want to pull out the most important nuggets from this material, give you a shortcut,
Yeah.
basically.
Get you up to speed.
Right. So you're well-informed and genuinely equipped to talk about your passions in English, whether you're, say, prepping for a party or trying to network, or maybe you're just curious about talking more effectively.
Mhm.
Understanding these bits will help you practice natural conversation, show your personality, and yeah, find those shared interests. Okay, let's unpack this.
Let's do it.
So, to really deep dive into talking hobbies, we first need to nail down what they actually are. It's more than just an activity, isn't it? What's the core definition our material uses?
Indeed. The material defines a hobby as something you do, well, purely for enjoyment, for relaxation, in your free time.
Okay.
And crucially, it's not your job. You're doing it because you genuinely want to, not because you have to.
Right, no obligation.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that distinction is key because it highlights the personal side, the often stress-relieving part.
Which makes it such a good conversation starter.
Precisely. It's like a little window into someone's authentic self, away from the daily grind.
That feels really important. So the source gives us the classics: reading, playing sports, cooking, drawing, gardening, the usual suspects.
Yeah, those are common ones.
But here's where it gets more interesting for me. Beyond just being a topic, why is talking about hobbies so effective for, like, breaking the ice?
Well, it taps into something pretty fundamental about how we connect socially. I mean, think about it.
Okay.
When you meet someone new, how often do you hear questions like, what do you do in your free time? Or got any hobbies? Or
Wow.
maybe, what are you into? Super common, right?
Yeah, all the time.
So being ready for that helps you move past the really surface level stuff, like the weather talk.
Right. Get you somewhere real faster.
Exactly. Sharing a hobby, it's like offering a little piece of yourself, but on a low-stakes way. It shows what you're passionate about, what genuinely excites you.
And that authenticity is attractive. It builds rapport
Yeah,
quicker.
totally. It's magnetic.
That makes perfect sense. Okay, so it's about sharing personality. Now let's get into the nuts and bolts, the language itself. Our sources point out some really key verbs.
Absolutely. And while most of us know the basics like play, go, do, the material highlights some, let's say, common trip-ups and important nuances.
Okay.
So first, play. That's your go-to for sports, musical instruments, and games. So play football, play the guitar, play chess.
Not do sports. I hear that sometimes.
You do hear it, but play sports often sounds more natural for team games or competitive activities. Then there's go, usually paired with activities ending in ing, often implying movement. Think go swimming, go hiking, go dancing.
Right, like an outing.
Kind of, yeah. Then do, this one's a bit more general, often for activities involving some effort or practice, like do yoga, do crafts, do photography, collect is straightforward, collect stamps, collect coins, easy.
Yeah.
And finally, watch, read, listen to for media stuff. Watch movies, read books, listen to music.
Okay.
And the power here is really how these verbs just neatly structure your sentences. Like the example, in my free time, I love to go hiking and take photos of nature. Simple, clear.
That's a great breakdown, especially the nuances. Okay, so you've named your hobby using the right verb, but what about frequency, how often you do it? The material mentions frequency words.
Yes. To make your descriptions richer, more real, you can easily slip in adverbs of frequency. Words like always, usually, often, sometimes, rarely, or seldom, and never. For instance, I usually go hiking on weekends, or maybe I sometimes paint in the evenings when I need to, unwind.
Adds that layer of detail, makes it sound less like a textbook answer.
Exactly. realism.
And what about people like me sometimes who get stuck just saying, I like, over and over? Are there better, more natural sounding phrases the material suggests?
Oh, absolutely. This is a fantastic point for making your English sound, well, more dynamic. Instead of just, I like, which can be a bit, flat.
Yeah, the basic.
Try these. I'm into. Like, I'm into cooking. It's quite therapeutic for me.
Okay.
Or maybe I'm crazy about, if you have strong enthusiasm, I'm crazy about video games, especially the old retro ones. I enjoy is always good. I enjoy reading mystery novels. I just love trying to figure it out. Simple but strong. I love traveling. Seeing new places is my thing.
Right.
Or I spend a lot of time gardening. My backyard's my little escape.
Those are great. They definitely add more flavor.
They show more personality, more enthusiasm.
Okay, speaking of common issues, are there any grammar traps related to hobbies that the material warns us about? Things that maybe intermediate speakers trip up on?
There definitely are. And yeah, they're easy mistakes to make. Key things to remember.
Okay.
After verbs like love, enjoy, hate, you almost always need the verb plus ing form, the gerund.
Right.
So it's I like swimming, not I like swim. That's a really common one.
Got it. Verb plus ing.
And similarly, the phrase I'm interested in also needs that verb plus ing. So I'm interested in learning French, not I'm interested in learn French.
Okay, same pattern.
Yep. And one more, when you talk about spend time, it's spend a lot of time playing video games, again with the verb plus ing.
So like enjoy, interested in, spend time, all often take that ing form.
Exactly. Getting these little details right really polishes your English, makes you sound much more fluent.
We've covered the what's and how often and the grammar, but the real connection, that comes from the why, right? Sharing why it matters to us. How does the material suggest we talk about that passion?
That's precisely it. Moving beyond just stating facts. The material suggests phrases that get at the emotional value, the benefit you get.
Like what?
Things like, it helps me relax, or makes me feel happy. I can forget about stress. It's creative. Maybe it keeps me active.
Ah, focusing on the feeling or the result.
Exactly. So instead of just, I like painting, maybe you say, I love painting because it really helps me relax and, express myself creatively.
That's much richer.
You're sharing a piece of your inner world, inviting a bit of empathy. It's showing the impact it has on you.
That makes it so much more vivid. And to really bring it home, the material also pushes for adding specific details. What kind of details help?
Don't just name the hobby. Paint a picture. Add context, like where do you do it, when, with whom.
Okay.
Think about phrases like, I play basketball with my friends every Sunday morning down at the park. See? Much more specific.
Yeah, I'd picture that.
Or, I like reading science fiction books just before bed. It really helps me switch off. Or even, I often cook Italian food for my family on weekends. We love trying recipes from my grandmother's old cookbook.
Okay, so the who, where, when, those specifics make it memorable and unique.
Exactly. Engaging and unique to you.
The material also shows this really cool progression, how answers can evolve from simple to much more detailed and engaging. Can you walk us through that?
Yeah. It's a great illustration. You can start super simple. My hobby is playing the piano. Fine.
Okay. Basic.
Then add a bit more personal feeling and frequency. In my free time, I really enjoy baking cakes, and I try new recipes pretty much every weekend. Better, right?
Yeah, more engaging already.
Then, for a more advanced descriptive answer, you might get something like, I've been really into photography for a few years now, and I particularly love capturing cityscapes around sunset.
Yeah.
The light just does something magical.
Wow, yeah. That paints a real picture.
What's insightful is seeing that progression. More detail, more personal investment, maybe even mentioning how long you've been doing it.
That advanced example almost sounds like the beginning of a story, which makes me think. The best conversations often involve stories. How does the material suggest we weave stories into talking about hobbies?
That's a great connection. The material actually includes a wonderful little anecdote to show just this.
Oh, yeah.
It talks about someone who really didn't like sports at all, hated them, actually.
Okay, yeah.
But then a friend dragged them along to try volleyball. They were, terrible at first.
Probably like most of us starting something new.
Right. But they stuck with it, maybe because of the friend, the fun, and they actually grew to love it. And now they can't imagine weekends without it. It keeps them fit, they've met new people, and it's this crucial escape from work stress.
That's a great little story. It reveals so much more than just, I play volleyball.
Exactly. It's the journey, the transformation. It makes you think, okay, what's your hobby's origin story? How did you stumble upon it? What's the journey been like?
I love that frame. The origin story. So powerful. And the material gives even more useful phrases for adding that kind of detail or flair.
Yeah, little conversational tools. Things like, I picked up this hobby last year, or I actually got into it during lockdown.
Oh, yeah, that's a common one now.
Right, or it's a great way to meet new people, or maybe the cool thing is I can practice it almost anywhere. These just smooth conversation and can open doors for the other person to ask more.
Very useful. Now, for intermediate learners, the material has this specific advice. Say more. What does that actually mean in practice? Don't just stop short.
Exactly. Don't just drop the statement and stop. Like, don't just say, I like dancing, period.
Right. Expand.
Go deeper. The advice is to elaborate a bit. How long have you been doing it? What does it really give you, personally? Maybe share a quick, interesting, or even funny story about it.
Okay.
The example they give is something like, I've been dancing salsa for about 2 years now. I absolutely love the energy, the music. It's such a fantastic way to de-stress after work. Actually, just last week, I even joined this small local competition, and I came in third.
See, that's so much better. It's engaging. It tells you something.
It transforms a simple statement into a little slice of your life, showing your passion.
Definitely. Okay, this deep dive wouldn't really be complete if we didn't look at how hobbies connect us globally. The material has some interesting cultural notes too, doesn't it?
It does. And what's really fascinating is seeing the sheer variety, but also the shared human experiences across cultures. It's quite cool. Well, for instance, in Japan, you still see traditional hobbies like calligraphy, shodo, and origami being really popular. In Italy, cooking, especially traditional regional dishes, is a huge pastime, often, passed down through families.
I can imagine.
Brazil, maybe not surprisingly, really embraces dancing samba as part of the cultural fabric.
Right.
In the USA, you see a lot of outdoor stuff like hiking, but also indoor things like video games are massive.
Yeah, big contrast there.
And in South Korea, K-pop dance cover groups are apparently a huge thing, combining pop culture with an active hobby.
Interesting.
Looking at this global picture, it immediately makes you wonder, okay, what are the unique or really popular hobbies where you live?
Yeah, that's a great question to ask someone.
Totally. Discussing local hobbies can be a fantastic conversation starter, offering a real window into different cultures and daily lives.
Good point. Okay, so to wrap up the practical language bits, the material also flags a few specific hobby vocabulary words that maybe aren't everyday terms for all learners.
Right, just a few worth quickly mentioning, like knitting, making things from yarn with needles, gardening, cultivating flowers, vegetables, that sort of thing. Scrapbooking, making those memory books with photos, decorations.
Right, very creative.
Hiking, specifically long walks in nature, often trails.
Yeah.
And pottery, making things like bowls or vases out of clay.
Useful terms to have.
Yeah, just knowing these specific words expands the range of activities you can comfortably talk about.
Well, we've certainly taken a pretty insightful deep dive into talking about hobbies today.
We really have.
From, figuring out what a hobby actually is to getting armed with the right verbs and phrases, exploring cultural angles, even the art of telling a little story.
Yeah.
This deep dive really shows how much richness there is in what seems like, on the surface, a simple topic.
And what it all means, really, is that talking about your hobbies is just a fantastic way to, build your confidence speaking English. Practice speaking naturally, pick up new vocabulary, and genuinely share who you are. It's such a fundamental way to make real connections with people.
So here's a challenge for you listening, inspired directly by our material. Take a moment. Think about your own main hobby. Ask yourself, okay, what is it? Why do I really enjoy it? How often do I do it? Who do I do it with, if anyone? When did I start? And maybe what's one interesting or funny little story about it?
Good question.
Then actually take a moment and practice saying that out loud in English. Just talk to yourself or a friend. Remember, even if you stumble a bit or make mistakes,
Doesn't matter.
right, people are almost always genuinely interested to hear about what makes you tick, what lights you up.
Absolutely. Stay curious, keep speaking, and really enjoy sharing what makes you, well, you.